Guess who just got murdered?
That'd be the Notre Dame offensive line, Dan. Oh,
Can I jump in real quick? Does anybody feel good about their offensive line in America?
Maybe Michigan.
Yeah.
Maybe Georgia.
After the first couple of weeks, I don't know if people felt first month. I don't think Georgia fans felt amazing about their offensive line. I think there's 7 fan bases that would say feel pretty good about my offensive line. It's a weird year like that.
And half of them are in the Patriot League. Yeah, look, 33-20. Louisville knocks off number 10 Notre Dame at home. It's a big win for Louisville. Yippee freaking yay. Congratulations. Nice win. Nice win. Louisville, we went through the schedule before. Louisville has a pretty nice little run here throughout the course of the year. If they can continue playing at a high level, they can continue running the football the way they did against Notre Dame, they'll be in a really good spot in ACC play. We can break down their schedule moving forward at some point here, but you got to like what you see early out of Louisville and Jeff Brohm. And, I think in particular with this game, the way that their defense controlled the point of attack. Notre Dame's offensive line.
You're being gracious, Ty. Let's take a step back here. Take a step back.
I can't do this for a third straight week, Dan.
No.
I can't do this for 3 straight weeks. I got to do it again next week.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I don't want you to be gracious in this moment because everybody knows Louisville was better. Everybody knows there was much more juice with the Louisville team than there was with Notre Dame. And maybe that's just because it was 3 straight weeks now of like a big raucous environment and Notre Dame showing some limitations in certain areas and showing some strength in certain areas. What did you feel watching this game? Where was your anger? Where was your disappointment? Where was your hope? What was your experience watching this game as Ty, not host?
My reaction was, why does it feel like every big game Notre Dame walks onto the field like they got tagged with a stun grenade? Why does it feel like that? All 3 of the big games that we've seen the last 3 weeks, in all 3 of them, it was a slow start. Yeah. In all 3 of them, it felt like very conservative play calling until they didn't have a choice. If I know they're running, there's a pretty good chance that Ryan Day and Jeff Brohm and Mike Elko know that they're going to run the football, right? Notre Dame at this point seems so committed to the run that they can't break it off when they have to, right?
Right.
They almost stick with the run too long. Audric Estime could not get it going last week. He didn't get it going this week. Last week, I guess, with the exception of a few key moments. But this week, it never happened. They started turning it over more to Jeremiah Love. I don't like what they're doing on offense right now because I don't know what they're doing on offense. They should have just let Sam Hartman throw it more. Now, he finishes with 3 picks.
Right. Well,
some of those were his fault. Some weren't. I mean, I blame the offensive line for most of it, to be frank with you. I mean, the fact that this offensive line, which everybody talks about coming into the season as so many potential, and a Joe Alt, he's a potential top 10 pick. Joe Alt got put on his butt. I don't know if you saw that clip in this game. Like Fisher,
like look it up.
We have this line supposedly that is going to be draft worthy, and this is now like the 2nd straight week against a team perceived to be less than, where that offensive line got dominated, where that offensive line couldn't establish a ground game, where that offensive line was giving up a ton of pressure to Sam Hartman. So, from my standpoint, that's unacceptable. From my standpoint, the other thing that I would say as a Notre Dame fan is, again, we have questionable coaching decisions. I know it's easy to second guess going forward on a 4th and whatever circumstance later in the game, deep inside your own territory. There were 9 minutes left in that game. It was something like
the 35-yard line is where they went for it.
Yeah, and it was a 4th and 11. Marcus Freeman decides he's going to go for it. I don't mind the aggressiveness, but the fact that they could not give Sam Hartman any time to do his thing is just, that was not going to change whether it was 1st or 4th down or regardless of what blocking scheme they called. They were just outmanned up front. Louisville wanted it more, either that or they were just flat out better. I don't know. But between some of the questionable coaching stuff, between some of what I've seen over the last couple of weeks, where it just feels to me like they go out there and they're timid to start the game with an offense that feels to me like it doesn't have much of an identity beyond we're going to run. And then if we don't get the run working, we're going to try it again. Like for the first time, what I really started feeling was, is this the right coaching staff?
I mean,
is this the right coaching staff?
Louisville out Notre Dame with the way that they went straight at the Irish. Jawhar Jordan was incredible. The offensive line was very good. Mostly Notre Dame's front actually really did hound Jack Plummer a good deal. But in terms of blocking for the rushing attack, I thought they did a nice job. Especially they just sort of went off tackle a lot right at Notre Dame. And it seemed to work. Notre Dame seemed to tire as the game went on. And I think you're right that they're trying to play bully ball, but they've got the slow mesh quarterback. They don't really have the wide receivers to go over the top if bully ball is working in play action. It's just doesn't feel like it's an offense that's off the ground at all.
It feels like the commercial, I forget what for, when they're using a hammer to try and drive something into a piece of wood and the guy says, just keep hitting it. Just keep hitting it. That's their offense right now. We're just going to keep running it. And if it works, it works. If not, it's going to be late in the game again when suddenly you've got to turn it over to Sam Hartman. You got to go 5 wide and you got to start throwing the ball.
Yeah.
And so at some point you have to not be as rigid with that scheme, identity, whatever the hell you want to call it. Because if it doesn't work for 3.5 quarters, it's already too late, especially against a good team. You know, I don't want to sell Louisville short because I think Louisville played a really good game. I think Louisville has been underrated so far this season. They had a lot back. I love Jawhar Jordan. I said it on the preview show. Yeah. I love the fact that he's a home run hitter. I love the fact that he's shifty. He's got wiggle. He's got burst. There's a lot to like about him and his rushing attack on the Louisville side of things. I don't want to sell them short. They've got, I think, an exciting season in front of them still. But on the Notre Dame side, there's no way you can be a fan of this team and not be incredibly disappointed by the showing that you saw tonight. I mean, it was a full-on no-show by the offensive line. It didn't seem like the plan was able to adapt to the circumstances of the game. And that's just really freaking maddening. So I'll shut up now. Notre Dame loses their second game. Joe Tessitore, thank you, Joe Tessitore, for reminding me 8,000 times during that game that Notre Dame needed to win to stay in the playoff conversation. I was not previously aware of that, but nonetheless, big win for Louisville.
A huge win for Louisville. They've got the CW network hosting their matchup against a Phil Jurkovec-less Pitt next week. But you talk about 12 in Oklahoma. I don't have a wonderful pun for you, but Pitt, Duke, likely without Riley Leonard, Virginia Tech, Virginia, Miami, who quite literally fumbled away a win against Georgia Tech tonight, and Kentucky, who lost by a bajillion to Georgia. It's a nice little runway for Louisville moving forward. It's a nice little runway.